First up, Canada against the United States for bronze. And it is a clean start. U.S. put up the second fastest time in qualifying yesterday. Canada finishing with the fourth fastest qualifying time. And what we saw really both rounds from the United States is they ride into this race. They finish strong for a lot of the race in qualifying anyway. Canada had the faster time but faded late. Already one rider off for the U.S. down to 3 riders. The time is taken and they are going to be riding a long way with just 3 riders. There's 1 rider pulling off for Canada now. As we reach the halfway mark, it's the U.S. still up by almost 0.8 of a second. Now the U.S. up to 0.9, just under a second advantage. Canada starting to lose ground a little bit more as Dygert pulling the U.S. forward. But there is a bit of a separation. You lose some of that draft. And Canada closing the gap. Will they run out of time, or can Williams hang on just enough? Still now just under 0.1 of a second. Surely Canada with momentum now, wind in their sails, and Canada now in front by 0.2 of a second. And it looks like now the U.S. is losing that contact. Lily Williams trying to hang on. The home fans cheering on the Canadian side. There is the bell. And now it's really looking like a foregone conclusion, barring any last-second drama. As Canadian side en route to bronze. Bonhomme leading things home. Coles Lister behind her. And it's the home side picking up the first medal here in Milton. This time we do get away cleanly. Everybody forming up smoothly. Been expecting this one to be close start to finish. Now inside 0.2 as we've only covered 500 meters. Still 0.1 of a second, nothing separating these two teams. And it's out to a second with Great Britain starting to pull away. As we approach the halfway mark, still a long, long way to go. Anything can happen here. Over 2.2 seconds now. Britain pulling away. 7 laps remaining, up to 2.5 seconds. And there you go, you see the first British rider pulling off. And they are down to 3. Germany still has all 4 riders together. They're at 2.5 seconds. Britain back together, eyeing gold here in Milton. Germany down to 3 riders as Mika Kruger is off. And once again, it is Archibald in front as they come up for the bell. A little bit of separation now in Great Britain. It's down to 1.6. Smart move to keep the trio together, try to keep all 3 together by the Brits, but it is struggling a little bit now. Germany coming in, Britain trying to get close, and in the end, Great Britain takes it by just under a second.
Please acknowledge all of our medalists.
Here's a podium, Great Britain, Germany, and Canada. So, switching to men's team pursuit now. France has Thomas Bouda, Donovan Grandin, Benjamin Thomas, and Valentin Tabellion. And very little between these two in the early going. Very evenly matched, all 4 riders together on both teams. Nice and compact. Pushing speeds almost 64 kilometers an hour, now 0.2. Australia moves in front. Now it's out to 0.6 of a second as we reach the halfway mark. But they had a good round 1 to get them into this bronze medal race. Now Australia down 1 rider. It's not a huge margin, mind you. 7/10 now, though, but the longer you see it creeping away, France has to start pulling it back at some point. We'll see how their strategy happens. There they do start to pull it back just a little bit. And a little bit more. Now you're starting to sweat. Australia down to 4 laps, and it's down to just over 0.3 of a second. Australia with that rider down. They are riding their way into it, but is it just too little, too late? We're going to be coming up to the bell shortly. There it is. Less than 0.1 of a second now. France with the momentum now, closing in on the finish. Last time check, and it is France in front by 0.1 of a second, coming into formation to get to the line as quickly as possible. And it's France taking the bronze medal, 0.4 of a second ahead of Australia. Absolutely perfection, that timing from France. World champions against the defending European champions. Our way, Britain, Oliver Wood, Daniel Bigham, Josh Charlton, and Michael Gill. Already now, it's Italy though, 7/10, nearly 0.8 of a second out after just a few laps, and there's still a long time to go, but that's a big time gap early on. Now 0.9 of a second. Now Italy continuing to just pull it out, 1.7 seconds in front. And inching it back a little bit. I do say there still is a long way to go, but you have to start pulling back the time gaps at some point. And it is closing it back halfway through the race. 1.3, you could say that's manageable, but you can't really afford to let it go out much further. Down to 1.1. Let's see how the Brits have timed this one. And it's Davide Boscaro leading the way for Italy again. And it is now just over a second after 2,500 meters. Great Britain dropping their first rider. That's Josh Charlton, the 20-year-old. And Italy also sheds one rider. Still very compact, a little bit of separation in Great Britain. And they are going to come up and hear the bell very shortly. And there it is, Francesco Lamon. And it is the Brits well out in front. Pardon me, I had that wrong the whole time. And Great Britain takes it. Italy 1.5 seconds back. Great Britain, a sweep of the team pursuit here in Milton. Gold in the women, gold in the men. Italy silver, France takes the bronze. Switch back to the team sprint. First for bronze, Great Britain and Poland. And we are away cleanly. Britain looking for their second bronze medal in 3 events in the Nations Cup. Poland looking to climb onto the podium for the first time split. 6/100ths of a second the gap. Great Britain with a slight advantage as they peel off the first rider, still very close. And it's Wash and Marchant going head-to-head. Now Poland in front by the slightest of margins, just under 8/100ths of a second. And it's down to the final riders. This one's going to come down to the wire, or so I say. Poland now eking out a bit of an advantage. It's one heck of a finish for Nikola Sibiak. Poland takes bronze by just over half a second. Next race is for gold, an all-North American battle. Mexico taking on the home crowd. And the all-North American battle for gold is underway. Orban leading out Canada. Salazar leading out Mexico. First split has Canada slightly behind. Just 3/100ths of a second the difference. Mexico pulling out just by the slightest of margins, but here comes Kelsey Mitchell, the Olympic sprint champion, pulling out. The Canadian train now up to 2 seconds advantage. And there is the bell, eking out slight advantage even more, just under 0.3 of a second. It's looking like Mexico, who is odds on for gold here, now closing in on 0.4 of a second. They come to the line. Mexico takes gold. Look at the final results. Mexico, Canada, Poland, top 3. Team against a pretty young British team. Look at the future here. Cleanly away, no problems this time. Ed Lowe leading out Great Britain ahead of Hayden Norris and Harry Lettingham-Horn. Canadian trio, Rourke, Wamas, and Hedgecock. And it's Canada down by almost half a second early on. That's a pretty big disadvantage. They've closed the gap a little bit by the time the first rider peels off down to our final 2. Inside of 0.4 of a second, Canada inching back a little bit. Here comes the bell. Inside 0.3 of a second is Canada leaving it a bit too late. They're coming to the line, and it's going to be inside 0.3 of a second round the final turn. Great Britain and Canada. And it's just Great Britain taking it by just over 0.2 of a second. Great Britain third. Canada will settle for 4th place. Now for gold. Australia against China. Once again, you would have to favor the Aussies here. 3 world champions lining up here. Lowe and Hoffman leading things out, and it seems like we do have a clean start. Britain already formed up. First time check. It's Australia up by 0.4 of a second. At the first exchange, Australia adding to that lead 0.6 of a second now. Just so smooth. It's just second nature to this team. All they do is know how to win, and Australia coming up to get the bell, 0.9 of a second. It's just another overpowering display by the Australians. China trying to do what they can to close things off, but it looks like it's going to be Glaetzer by nearly a second. Australia, gold again in men's team sprint. Where have you heard that before? Australia gold, China silver, Great Britain takes bronze. We return to the distance and the elimination race. We'll quickly run through, if you are new to this, what is the elimination race? It's a mass start event. Don't finish last. We are ready to go. There will be a form-up lap. It's not going to be a bell right away. So the riders are going to get into position. There we go. That is the gun. Now the race is on. And the next time they come back around, they will hear the bell for the first time, and that indicates the first elimination is at hand. There is the bell. It's Italy's Rachele Barbieri sitting at the front. Here we go again. Setting pulses racing in the field, that bell every time. It looks like it's going to be Schwetner. Potentially, unless she makes up. Yes, she does. And right as I say, on the inside, Argyro Milaki of Greece. The danger of being on the inside is that if you're caught up behind an acceleration, you get boxed in. We'll see what the call is at the line. It's going to be close.
Number 267 has been eliminated.
And it's Nia Evans from Great Britain. That's a bit of a surprise. And yet again, we're coming around to the bell, down to the final 14 riders. And Let's see who goes this time. And this time, the luck has run out for Leila Schwedner.
253, Austria.
It's going to be a bit of a fight for Stenberg to stay in this race. She is going to go around the outside. And does matter to hang on, does happen to hang on. The legs are starting to get sore. Into our final 8. It's another sprint lap. It looks like Yareli Acevedo just out of gas. She's the next one to go. Now a raising of the tempo, Micah Venderdum. Now really the race is picking up. The tempo is going a lot faster. That one's a close one, almost 5 abreast across the line.
Number 281.
That is Michaela Drummond, the 25-year-old. And way up there, Valente leading things up. She has a bit of a gap now. You don't often see attacks in the elimination race, but she has a little bit of an advantage, and I'm sure she'll just enjoy it for as long as possible because we are bunching up once again. Race of the Low Countries for this next spot.
Number 255, Belgium has been eliminated.
And it is Shari Bossuet.
Belgium.
Eliminated. Just pipped there at the line by Micah Vanderdown, and now we're down to the podium. Who will finish where? It's Valente, it's Stenberg, and it's Vanderdown. Who's used up a lot of their energy? You would say it's Anita Stenberg who's used up a lot of her energy, but she's looking at the freshest of them, and Valente has spent a lot of time at the front, not enjoying the draft. And that is Micah Vanderdown. And now there are 2. Valente out of San Diego, Anita Stenberg out of Drammen, Norway. And there's the bell. Who's going to up the tempo? Who's going to risk it? Stenberg has spent a lot of time at the back, but here she is. Now they go. Now it's Valente leading it out. Stenberg trying to round the corner. She's closed the gap a little bit. It's Valente and Stenberg, and it's going to be Stenberg winning this one. Playing possum the entire time.
Anita Stenberg!
A gold medal for Anita Stenberg. Next up is the men's elimination race. Of the first kind of form-up lap, and already moving at a pretty good tempo. The roar of the bikes coming around to get the gun. We are officially underway. Compact field, it's the Canadian Dylan Bibic moving off the front. In a dangerous position, it's Valentin Tabellion, France. I think he just does enough to survive. That is not. Yang Yang of China is the next to go. Hanging near the back, but still fighting tooth and nail to hang on. He's hanging off the back once again, but he's in a battle with a rider from Kazakhstan, and we'll see. It looked like 3 riders across. And it's Akil Campbell from Trinidad and Tobago, the next to go, finishing 14th. Hanging near the back, Valentin Tabellion. We saw him in the team pursuit. Now he's moving forward. Ramis Dinmukamatov doing just enough. There we go. And is Matthias Guillemette riding for Cheney Windows and Doors, the trade team here, not in the Canadian jersey. I'm not sure he agrees with it. We'll take a look. It's Malta Mashka of Germany, the next to go. Once again, another sprint lap. Now it's Hashimoto on the front.
Starts to happen for this group. Here comes your next elimination.
Corbin Strong in trouble. He is getting out of the saddle a little bit. Here comes Strong. Is it too little, too late? And it's Dylan Bibic stuck along the inside, the next to go. So it's a 7th place. Now move down to the bottom, Mark Stewart leading the bell. Hanging off the back, Blake Agnolotto of New Zealand. Getting around Stewart. Has he done enough? Does Stewart have anything left to try to close it up? Is there going to be some late drama? It looks like it's still going to be Stewart from Great Britain. Down to our podium. And Eric Martorell, just the lights have gone out. The energy reserves are depleted, so he will take the next elimination. We'll go home with a nice bronze medal. Now it's down to 2. So both of them have spent some time near the back, spent some energy near the back. We'll see how this one goes. It could be a matter of who has some energy left because it's been such a high, fast-paced race. Now a sprint is on at the bell. Agnolotto with the early advantage. And here comes Buckley closing the back. Buckley perfectly times this one, or so it seems. It's going to be Matthias raises one arm in the air. Matthias Buckley beats cycling, takes this one. Blake Agnolotto silver. Eric Martorell wins the bronze medal.